If you didn't know, I'm sure you're confused by this, had no idea whatsoever, the NFL is starting pretty soon, in fact. And so everybody in my business, if you're not knee-deep in fantasy, which 99% of males between the ages of 17 and 70 probably are, everybody is making predictions. I'm not going to do it. We're going to go at this a little differently. I prefer to encourage sinful behavior, you know. So that's the way we're going to go about this. It would be a game of threes. If you want to do lists and things like that, that means you got to get out a Big Chief tablet, number 2 pencil, something like that. I made this up approximately 2 minutes ago. These are lists of threes. Anybody can predict, anybody can act as if they know everything, but the list of threes is a little differently. It's a list of good things in threes. It's a list of really bad things in threes. And in some cases, it's a list of psychotic behavior in threes. Feel free to play along. It is encouraging drinking. It's encouraging gambling. And I guess crack, however you do that. Not quite sure yet. List of threes. Got it? The 3 players under the most pressure this NFL season, that's J.J. McCarthy of the Vikings, that nobody seems to talk about. Like they just gave this kid the key to the franchise that won 14 games, and they have no idea if he's any good. They're betting on cheap and good. That's the bet. If it works, they're genius. If not, people get whacked. J.J. McCarthy of the Vikings, Lamar Jackson, and Dak Prescott. The 3 coaches most likely to get whacked in no particular order, but first, Brian Daboll of the Giants, dead man walking, Zach Taylor of the Bengals, and Mike McDonald of the Miami Dolphins. The 3 teams that are Super Bowl or bust, and I don't know if you could expand it beyond 3, to be honest. I'm not quite sure, but I think this is pretty easy to say. The 3 that are Super Bowl or bust. Ravens, for sure. The window's never been better. This is it. I mean, like you can't piece it together any better than the Ravens have it. It's Super Bowl or bust. Ravens, Eagles, and I think Bills. More so than even the Chiefs, but you could argue either way. Just something about you feel like if the Bills don't do it now, they're out of oxygen, right? You just can't get over the hump. The 3 worst teams, the Saints, the Giants, the Browns. The 3 reasons why the Texans are on, I think, are pretty decent. I don't even know how far to take this. The 3 reasons why the Texans are on a path, and I'm going to say it, to the AFC Championship game. Okay? Always is about defense. I know you hate it. I know fantasy nerds hate to hear that, but it just never seems to change. The reasons why they're on an AFC Championship path would be excellent pass rush, smart, inexpensive, talented quarterback, and Trevor Lawrence is still underachieving. They get an easy division because he keeps underachieving. That's why the Texans are on a playoff, on an AFC Championship path. You'll say, Jeff, this is going to get shot out of the water tonight, but not so much. The 3 reasons why the Cowboys are on a path to win 10 games, and that's about the ceiling. Okay, you're not going to get a whole lot better, may not get a whole lot worse. The reasons are this, and it's pretty simple, and I don't think it even changes. A healthy Dak Prescott, he has to play all the time, like all the time. A top 5, call me crazy, top 5 MVP season by Dak Prescott. So he has to be healthy all the time and just about perfect. And then another all-pro season by Brandon Aubrey, their kicker, who's going to hit a 70-yard field goal this season. The 3 reasons why the Cowboys only win 8 games. And there's not much variance, right? There's not going to be a big difference. 8, 1, Dak Prescott gets hurt. 2, CeeDee Lamb gets hurt. 3, George Pickens goes psycho, which is possible, or Jake Ferguson is a bust. He's a tight end they gave a bunch of money to. The 3 best passers in the NFL. I'd say quarterbacks. I just said best passers. Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. Win healthy. The 3 teams, I think this was the toughest one to figure out. The three teams, we'll do this. The three teams that are most likely to digress, to come back to the pack. FC Washington, the Lions, and I think the Chargers. I'm not buying the Jim Harbaugh thing. I'm not. The three teams most likely to make another leap. This one is cool. And I think this list this year in the NFL is a little bit bigger than usual, which is cool. The three teams to make a leap would be the Broncos, best defense in the league, period. That's all you have to do. Just play good defense. The Cardinals, laugh all you want, and the Falcons. You can't keep only the Browns can keep stockpiling talent and still suck. Sooner or later, by default, you have to be good. The Falcons have to be good sooner or later. Michael Penix and Bijan Robinson, at some point, it has to hit. There has to be a hit there. The three most common Tom Brady cliches. I think there are like 300, but let's just focus on the three. These are the things that he will say over and over and over again. They're on repeat. They're on 3x5 cards. He says it all the time, no matter what. It's the standard move. It's the go-to of Tom Brady. The three most common Tom Brady cliches. Overcoming adversity. I think the guy wakes up saying overcoming adversity. It never stops, overcoming adversity. It is the term I hate the most, not just because it's Tom Brady. Every coach, every player says adversity, as if they're stepping into Baghdad. Overcoming adversity, okay? He'll say it. It's like, here's the best part with Brady. This is how bad he is at his job. It'll be like 3 plays into the game. And he'll say something like, Kevin, this is one of those times when you have to overcome some adversity. And the game just freaking started. All right, so overcoming adversity, the other Tom Brady cliche, there's a bunch. He does this one a lot too. You have to believe in yourself. Like he's Socrates or something. Really, have to believe in yourself. They interviewed him about Arch Manning a couple days ago. I don't know where it aired. And I bet he said you have to believe in yourself like a dozen times. The other, and there's a long list. You could do an entire drinking or drug game on Tom Brady cliches, and it could last hours. The other Tom Brady cliche that you'll get a lot is he'll say something to the effect like, it's about mental toughness. Mental toughness, mental toughness, mental toughness. There you go. Now, he also periodically will do this thing, too, where he'll say what Coach Belichick used to say, like he's in 9th grade. The three players, let's do this one. The three players most likely to have off-field meltdowns. And I think we got a huge possibility here, and I think we got a possibility early. I can't figure out the over-under on one of them. I don't know, but it'll happen. The three most likely players to have meltdowns off the field would be, number one, clearly Tyreek Hill. Like, if he doesn't get the ball, he's getting sued by every woman in his life, including the one he broke her leg. That was the, quote, plus-size model. He's divorced. I mean, remember the Cobb's taste? I mean, it's just, the dude is, like, he really needs a reality show. Like, that guy but he keeps playing well. But he's a mess. So Tyreek Hill will have some sort of off-field meltdown. And I don't know that I blame him because they bring him to Miami thinking it's all going to work, and it's not working. And the whole Miami experiment, I think, has gone wrong. So he's going to flip out Aaron Rodgers of the Steelers. But, Jeff, he's been quiet. I know. That's until things go wrong and he thinks you're not talking about him, or he goes tinfoil hat nutcase, which is usually he goes tinfoil hat nutcase, anti-vax nut job, usually around the time that he plays badly. Like, it's like whenever it goes wrong, bring up something else. Fauci, vaccines, Martians, sex with aliens, wherever he goes. So it'll pace itself out. Whenever he plays bad, he goes nut job. And then the third, Dallas can't have this happen. For Dallas to do well, they cannot afford for George Pickens to go psycho. But George has the potential to go psycho. And George has the potential, I think. The owner's kind of a mess. We've gathered that the past few months. I think we've figured that out. He's not aging well. And so the concern would be this. So you've got Tyreek Hill with an off-field meltdown. That's almost a given. Aaron Rodgers, sooner or later, tinfoil hat meltdown. That's almost a given. But a Jerry Jones-induced George Pickens freak out. That's what I think. You better hope it doesn't happen because they need him and he's really good. I mean, I think he's a good pickup by Dallas. I do. I just know if he doesn't get what he wants and his owner kind of tosses him under the bus, which he's inclined to do, you might get that George Pickens freak out. Here's one. I think this is cool. This is nerdy football, Jeff. Think this one through. The 3 most likely records to be broken this season. I think one is obvious. I think it's broken a couple times. I do. The 3 NFL records, and this is really, really nerdy, but these are the 3 records that I think will be broken. Okay, first, there's going to be a 70-yard field goal. We've had one already in a preseason game. It doesn't count. There is going to be, I think there's going to be at least one 70-yard field goal this season. And I think if you had to go and bet on it, which remember, we're encouraging sinful behavior, I'd bet that it's Brandon Aubrey. It may not happen in Philadelphia in those conditions on grass and all that stuff, but so there's going to be a 70-yard field goal. The other record that's likely to be broken, I looked this up, didn't sleep, hadn't slept for a couple of days, so I did this deep dive. And this is crazy to me. The all-time total tackles record, which is held by Ray Lewis. Bobby Wagner is 220 tackles away. I know, nobody cares about defense, I know. But that's crazy to me that anyone would pass Ray Lewis in any capacity. But that's going to happen. And then here's one that the fantasy nerds will like. And I looked this up too because he came close a year ago. And I don't know if it was talked about much. The other record that I think it's broken this year is the single season passer rating. The record is Aaron Rodgers had the passing rating, single season passing record as of now of 122.5. I only think that this gets broken, one, because I think Joe Burrow's going to have a ridiculously good year. They can't play defense, but they'll have a ridiculously good year. Lamar Jackson will be really good again. He was at 121 a year ago. So he almost broke this record a year ago. And I think there's a lot of guys that are just sort of in that position where they're going to be throwing it a lot. Okay, that's nerdy. Then the stuff people really care about. The 3 most likely Super Bowl halftime performers. And this has already been kicked around because the commissioner of the NFL, the puppet of the NFL, has already mention Taylor Swift. So I got to believe you don't mention Taylor Swift or Ms. Kelsey. Or is he going to be Mr. Swift? Which one? How's that going to work? I think he's Mr. Swift. I don't think you mention Taylor Swift unless you pretty much have a deal done. I don't think you go there without, you don't ever say her name lightly. Ever. So the 3 most likely halftime performers, and this is actually based on odds, you've got Taylor Swift or Miss Kelsey, Mrs. Metallica, yeah, they're in the odds. I don't know whether to be happy about that or disappointed. I mean, I guess it'll be cool. Or Post Malone. I didn't set it up. I mean, the Vice President of the United States, he's doing great. He's already said that the fix is in, so the Taylor Swift tinfoil hat crowd can already start up. Those are the 3 by the odds, no kidding, the 3 most likely halftime performers. Because I'm encouraging sinful behavior, I'm going to tell you the 3 least likely. Okay? See what, like, it wouldn't be fun in a perfect world. See, I've always wanted to have the NFL micromanages things so much. It makes sure that it hits that soccer mom demographic so perfectly. Right? The entire goal of the NFL is for minivan drivers to love the halftime show, right? I want so badly to have an F-bomb dropping, out of control death metal band at halftime. I want everyone to just shriek and be offended. So that's my hope. My hope is that halftime is an absolute nightmare for most people who only watch the game for halftime. I think that'd be so cool. The 3 least likely Super Bowl halftime performers. And I say this because 2 of them are out touring again, or one of them's about to tour, I think. Radiohead's about to start up again, which is cool. And that made me think, I would love for Radiohead to play halftime and just start dropping F-bombs. Offend every mom watching. The 3 least likely Super Bowl halftime performers. Number 1, Oasis. There is absolutely, it would be great. It would be great. They would fight. They would hate each other. They would make fun of anything from Trump to the NFL. Like, they just wouldn't stop. They'd have to be dragged off the stage, ripping Trump in the NFL. Oasis, Radiohead's about to tour again. There is no chance. None. The moms don't want it anyway. I get that. But there's no chance the NFL would talk to them. None. And I was trying to think of another. I'm just going to say this because nobody even knows who it is, but it makes me laugh just to say his name. Donny Osmond. I just think that'd be so cool. Like, I'm not kidding. If I could just have Super Bowl for like 15 minutes, I would have Oasis come out there. I'm not even sure they would play a song, and they would just offend everyone. And then they would like scream and go to black, and then for some bizarre reason, there'd be Donny Osmond. And it would just crack me up. I don't care what he sings. I don't even know what he sings. You don't even know who he is. It would just make me happy. That kind of chaos, that sort of offensive chaos would be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be the perfect way to end the year? People going, who is that? Who is that? It's Donny Osmond. I think he's alive. I feel like he's alive. I feel like the guy probably hasn't aged. All right, there's the NFL season in 3s. Some of it nerdy, some of it wishful thinking, some of it pretty accurate, I think. The NFL in 3s. Hey, here's a recommendation backed up by my own experience, a great experience. And that is, I've been a client of DJC Law, and I can tell you this. You're going to get 3 things with DJC Law. You'll notice it right away. The difference is you will get peace of mind. They will take care of every single detail perfectly, and you will get the result you deserve. If you're injured by the negligence of someone else, fighting with an insurance company for any reason, trust me when I tell you, you will need DJC Law. Dan Christensen and his team of attorneys have a remarkable track record. I've known Dan a long time. He's a military vet. He's board certified in civil trial law, and I've been a client. So you can trust them. You will get the result you deserve. Check out teamjustice.com, and you'll see thousands of 5-star reviews. The bottom line is, if you're in an accident, you need DJC Law. Contact them right away. 512-888-9999.